World War I, the Great War, the war to end all wars. It lasted from 1914 to 1918, killed over 16 million people, and shattered empires that had ruled for centuries. But how did it begin? What actually happened? And why does it still matter today? Let's rewind the clock and tell the story of World War I. In the early 20th century, Europe was a tinderbox. Four major empires dominated: the British Empire, ruling the seas; the German Empire, rising in power; the Austro-Hungarian Empire, old but vast; and the Russian Empire, huge and unstable. Add France, Italy, the Ottoman Empire, and you've got a volatile mix of ambition, nationalism, and fear. Then, on June 28, 1914, everything changed. Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary was assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia. Backed by Germany, they issued an ultimatum. Serbia refused some demands. On July 28th, Austria-Hungary declared war. That spark ignited alliances like a chain reaction. Russia mobilized to defend Serbia. Germany declared war on Russia. France joined in. Germany invaded Belgium to reach France. Britain, defending Belgium's neutrality, declared war on Germany. Within days, Europe was engulfed in war. Germany's plan was swift and brutal. The Schlieffen Plan: knock out France quickly, then pivot east to fight Russia. It didn't work. At the First Battle of the Marne, French and British forces stopped the Germans just outside Paris. Both sides dug in. And the West became a nightmare. From the North Sea to Switzerland, trenches were carved into the earth. Muddy, rat-infested mazes where millions of soldiers lived, fought, and died. The front barely moved for 4 years. Futile assaults were launched over no man's land, a hellscape of barbed wire, machine guns, and shell fire. The Battle of the Somme in 1916, 1 million casualties for just a few miles of ground. Verdun, the longest battle of the war, over 300 days. More than 700,000 killed or wounded. War had changed. It was no longer about honor or glory. It was about survival. While the Western Front was locked in stalemate, the Eastern Front was vast and more fluid. Germany and Austria-Hungary fought the Russian Empire. Battles were massive and mobile, but just as bloody. In 1917, something unimaginable happened. The Russian Empire collapsed. After years of defeats, economic collapse, and public anger, Tsar Nicholas II abdicated. The Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, seized power and made peace with Germany in the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk that freed German troops for a final offensive in the West. But by then, a new power had entered the war. For years, the United States stayed neutral, but several events changed that. In 1915, a German U-boat sank the British ship Lusitania, killing over 1,000 people, including 128 Americans. Germany resumed unrestricted submarine warfare in 1917, targeting American ships. Then came the Zimmermann telegram, Germany secretly offering Mexico U.S. territory if it joined the war. That was the last straw. In April 1917, the United States declared war on Germany. American troops, fresh, well-supplied, and determined, arrived in France by the hundreds of thousands. They tipped the balance. By 1918, Germany launched one last desperate offensive on the Western Front. They pushed hard, but the Allies, reinforced by American troops, held the line. Then they pushed back. German morale collapsed. At home, strikes and protests erupted. The Kaiser abdicated. On November 11th, 1918, at 11:03 a.m., the guns fell silent. An armistice was signed. The war was over, but peace would prove elusive. The toll was staggering. Over 16 million dead, 21 million wounded, millions more traumatized for life. Entire landscapes, like northern France and Belgium, were obliterated. 4 empires vanished: the German, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian. In 1919, world leaders met in Versailles to shape a new world. Germany was blamed for the war, forced to disarm, saddled with enormous reparations. The Treaty of Versailles was meant to ensure peace. Instead, it planted the seeds of future conflict. The humiliation and economic pain in Germany would eventually give rise to Adolf Hitler and World War II. But that's another story. World War I also transformed society. Women entered the workforce in massive numbers. Colonial troops who fought bravely began to demand independence. And the League of Nations was formed to try to prevent another catastrophe. It failed. But the lessons of World War I about nationalism, technology, diplomacy, and human cost still echo today. 100 years later, we still ask, how did it happen? Could it have been stopped? And are we repeating the same mistakes? World War I was not the war to end all wars, but it was the war that changed the world forever. Thank you for watching.